What's up guys, and welcome back to another EVE Online video. Tonight I am in my Stratios, which you can see is cloaked up here, and I'm chilling in a C5 wormhole at the moment. So what I wanted to do this evening was just sort of as part of my Tengu production stuff, I wanted to sort of introduce you to a relatively good way to just make a little bit of ISK, or to sort of farm one of the resources that is needed for Tengu production, basically. This is doing a C5 wormhole relic or data sites, if I could talk, in a Stratios. And now that sounds pretty unlikely, right? But it's a fairly specialized fit, and it's only certain sites you can run. So credit for this goes to Urshlag. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce his name, but I saw him do a stream with this fit a couple of years ago, and I've been doing it for a little while since, and thought that maybe I'd share it, sort of, make sure it's up to date with the current patches and things, prove that it still works, and if anyone hasn't seen Urshlag's video, then look up his channel and track down his video. It was a stream video, so I think it's like 2.5 hours or something. This one will hopefully be a little bit shorter. And so basically, what we've done is, as I said, I'm in a C5. I've been in here for a little while. I've scanned down all the sites. You can see my list of bookmarks here, and everything is cleared from my probe scanner. I have been sitting here for a little bit because on D-scan there were some other probes. They pulled in, and Helios went off through that wormhole. So I'm as confident as I can be that I'm alone in here at the moment. As I said, I've been here for a little while. Now, those of you who aren't that experienced with wormholes, it is a very dangerous space, no local chat, all that kind of stuff. Everyone can just kill you. People do kill you, everyone's cloaked up all the time, you don't know if someone's around. So this is not without risk, for sure. But that being said, C5s, in my experience, this is anecdotal, C5s are pretty quiet. Big groups tend to use them to farm, but this one hasn't been farmed for a little while. Lots of combat sites in here, and so I've no reason to believe going to have any major company. And the other thing is, often when you do get company, all the combat sites in here, combat sites, relic data sites, are very difficult. They're sort of for marauder level or several battleships. So when people see a Stratios on D-scan, they don't really expect it to be in one of the combat sites. So far, fingers crossed, touch wood, all that kind of stuff, no one has dropped in on me while I've been running one of these sites. Because as you'll see in a minute, you can't just cloak up and disappear. There's lots of scrams and things. But anyway, that's for in a minute. Now, a Stratios. How can a Stratios do these sites? A couple of things to note to start with before we dive into the fit. They're in C5 wormholes. There are 2 types of relic and 2 types of data sites. This only works for one of each. I've got them noted down so that you can see the names. Notepad. Here we are. So the relic is the forgotten core data field. It's very important. And the data site is the unsecured frontier server bank. Now it's very important that you get these right. If you warp into the other sites, you'll die. There will be 3 or 4 battleships that you can't tank. They'll wipe you out. These sites have a very different opening wave, and that's very important. And now we have an Okata heading through. That suggests I'm not alone. I'm going to do it anyway because I'm recording and I'm willing to take the risk. Wait for him to smash through. There he goes. Also, I'm not too concerned about Okata. He's hopefully just passing through to find an exit. But yeah, that's very important. So, Forgotten Core Data Field is one of the relic sites that we can go to. Unsecured Frontier Enclave Relay don't warp to that. Like, this is a data site, it's the other type of data site. Don't warp to it, you'll die. Simple as. This fit will not work. So important thing to note. Let me get it up again so you can, if you need to take a screenshot of it or whatever, or note them down. They're the two that you can warp to with this fit. So, to the fit then, we have a Stratios. How can a Stratios do this? It's a pretty unique fit. It's only really good for one thing, and that is C5 Ninja Wormholes. And basically you go passive shield tanked. And then you need a bunch of stuff to do the rest of the site, so you need your mobile depot as well. But the basic fit is, as much shield as you can get, right? So shield purger is shield recharge rate, I believe, recharge bonus. So 3 of those tech 2s. Obviously your cloak, your scanners. I've just gone cheap ones, but go more expensive if you need to. And then a couple of turrets in the top. My turret skills when I first fitted the ship out were pretty weak. I think they're better now, but I've not bothered to change them because the turrets don't offer that much additional DPS, especially as all my skills are in drones. And then the important thing is the shielding. So fill the EM hole a little bit by chucking a shield amplifier in there, and then just 4 large shield extenders. And in the bottom, the lows, damage control 2 obviously, and then a combination of shield power relay 2s for shield regen, and drone damage amplifiers for DPS, and carry spares of each. I've got an additional drone damage amplifier, so I can swap one out using my mobile depot, or if the DPS is getting a bit much, I can swap in my shield power relays to increase my tank. So as it stands, we've got 42,000 DHP with 173 HP a second regen. If you run that through Siggy, it'd be more, not Siggy. I've forgotten the name of the fitting tool. No, I don't know. Can't remember the name. But that will give you EHP per second. Okatur is back. Let's check which way he goes, so that we can keep an eye on him. Hopefully he just warps to another wormhole. If he warps to a structure, I'll need to pay. Damn, he's probably warped to a structure. Alrighty, so just real quick then. Real quick, we're going to head to the structures and see if anyone's in there, because they're just outside my D-scan range. Active. So, again, if you don't know, anchored structures, citadels and things, are visible on the map, even if they're outside of your D-scan range, so you can just warp to them. It's unlikely he's docked up already. And then so, again, we can check out if it's occupied. This one has no one in, the other one was there. Also has no one in, core absent as well. So I don't know where that Octa's gone. If I was being sensible, I wouldn't do the site now, but I'm not feeling sensible. Okay. And so we're going to warp into the site. We've gone through the basic fit. As I say, you need your mobile depot so you can swap out tank and DPS, depending on need. But then you also then need a different fit to then hack the site afterwards. So obviously cargo scanners and data and relic analyzers to hack the site. Nanofiber internal structure to help align time and things if you need to quickly dip out. The prop mod, and a warp corp stabilizer for if someone tries to land on you while you're in there, basically. And you swap this whole fit out. The drone setup is also important. Again, we'll cover this off, but warriors for killing the frigs, hammerheads for killing the cruisers, and ECM drones. You definitely need ECM drones, and you need a lot of them. I think I started with 25. I've lost a few, so you need a lot of these guys. That's important, and you'll find out why. Alright, I'm taking a risk on the Octa because I want to get this recorded. So I'm going to warp in to the relic site because this one's okay. Stay cloaked because when you land you can remain cloaked, and you can make an assessment and warp out if you need to. So as we warp in, I've already spent 10 minutes blabbing before we've gotten started, but this does take a little while as well. But again, so as we warp in, a few things to note. This is a relic site, so at this point you get the ancient relics, which is the gold stuff, which you'll see a little bit later on, but none of the data cores. If you want the data cores for for Tech 3 manufacturing, you have to go to one of the data site that we've discussed already. So you can see we've got 5 cruisers, 5 frigates. The frigates all web warp scram, and I think even newt maybe. So you've got to be careful of them. As soon as you decloak, they'll come over. You'll be scrammed by 5 frigates, and I think the cruisers do as well. We'll find out in a second. And so you can't leave. You just have to sit here until you have run the site, basically, until the whole thing's finished. Otherwise, and someone can drop on you and kill you. That's the risk. It's a big one, but that's the risk. The other thing to note, then, and we're going to talk about this when we get started. There's lots of waves. Again, if you know about wormholes, relic and data sites have at least 3 waves, often more often 4. This one I think has 4. But that doesn't matter. We are not finishing this wave. Basically, you kill everything and you leave 1 cruiser alive, set your ECM drones on it, and then go off and hack the site while your ECM drones do their thing. So one more D-scan, decloak, mobile depot and MTU, out they go. Wait for them all to come in, and frigates first because they are bloody annoying with the drones. Wait for everyone to target you before dropping the drones, and warriors out onto one of the frigates. And now what you need to pay attention to, so they're warp scamming from range already, but again, one of the things you need to pay attention to is your shield. Like, it goes down quickly. I might have to swap out already. It takes a minute for the mobile depot to anchor, but these guys will instantly change aggro onto your drones and can blap them like immediately, because all their E-War, everything is insta-swapped before you've got time to do anything. Again, keep an eye on your shield. Max regen is at 33%-ish. It's either 30 or 33%, so you just need to keep an eye on it. Obviously, the more ships you take off the field, rats you take off the field, the more you can tank. But there you go, they're swapped, and my drone is nearly dead, and will take a while coming back in because he's warped and webbed and scrammed, and he died, so just gone. I am going to swap one of these for shield power relay and get new warriors out and try again. Constantly hitting D-scan, it doesn't really make much difference at this point, but it's sometimes nice to know that you're about to die. And yeah, the cruisers, web, scram and newt. The newt doesn't matter, you will be capped out during this process, but it doesn't matter, we're completely...
You cannot cloak your ship as you are being targeted
hit the wrong
by
key.
someone.
We're completely passive. The range on this thing is rubbish, by the way, but you can use it on the frigates just to do that tiny little bit more DPS. It really is a tiny bit more, though. It's not really worth mentioning. You can see that the third shield recharger has meant I'm comfortably stable. Look at the speed it recharges, which is nice. And we take more as we take more and more of the DPS off the field. We can swap out for, and immediately again they swap. He's again, like, everything is immediately on him. Look, so he's dead as well. So you need a lot of drones as collateral. with this thing. Wait for them to put their aggro back on me. Come on, last one. Come on. There we go. So yeah, as I say, you need a lot of drones as collateral. It's not just the ECMs. You lose a lot of warriors as well. And the reason I'm using warriors is because they're the fastest drones. So they stand a better chance of getting back in. But still, it just insta-blapped. And now the cruiser changed his mind for a second. But these are the relic and data sites, the hacking sites on the right. They're all relic in this site, and often where the best value is the abandoned Talakan ship, battleship in this case. I need to go back up here to make sure they're not thinking. When you go to the data site, there obviously will be data hacks, except you'll have the abandoned Talakan battleship, and that will be a relic hack. So for this site, I only need a relic analyzer, but for that one, you would need both, especially if you want the key value. We didn't lose one that time, but he took a little bit of damage. Less frigates now, obviously. Let's lock a couple of them up. DPS is dropped, so I'm going to swap out that for a DDA again. And you can see we're capped out, but it just doesn't matter. And then basically this is what you do for a little bit. Drop the MTU, because all these guys drop blue loot, and blue loot is just essentially free money. It's the equivalent of bounty in wormhole space, but it's a physical item that you have to take to market and sell. But all rats drop it.
You cannot cloak your ship as you are being targeted by someone.
Keep an eye on the shield now that I've swapped it out, but it's pretty simple at the moment. But the important thing to remember, and I'll mention it again before the end, is you leave one of the cruisers alive. Again, otherwise you're probably dead. Because the next wave will spawn, you'll be scrammed, it's a much tougher wave, you'll probably die. Drones in again, they are bloody annoying with their aggro. Luckily there's only 2 of them now, so the webbing's less effective, they've got less DPS. So shouldn't really lose any more at this point. But it's still annoying. So far, I believe, in my experience, the cruisers haven't swapped aggro. So what I do is I use the warriors for the frigs, and then swap to hammerheads for the cruisers to increase the DPS significantly. The tank profile on these things, it doesn't really matter which drone you use. The tank profile is uniform. Their DPS, you want to obviously be EM and thermal tanked. They're the holes for Stratios in the shield, which obviously isn't great, but it doesn't really matter. You just put more shield recharge in. So now in come these, keeping an eye on the shield, because we're approaching our maximum regen. If we start to drop below it, we need to swap. But as soon as we take out one cruiser, we're golden. So bing bing bing, and then we'll look up that one and we'll just go around the circle. Still hitting D-scan. Nothing new. And then just also, I like to keep, when I scan things down, I like to keep my probe scanner clear, because then as soon as something else spawns, it'll be immediately visible to me. And this did actually happen while I was checking this wormhole out before recording. I scanned everything down, obviously, had it clear, was feeling good, and then something spawned, a new signature spawned, and I had probes out on my D-scan at more or less exactly the same time, which meant it was highly likely that's the same Helios. So now we find out whether or not we die. Hopefully not. I think he's just moving through, because that's the same one as before. But he will have seen me on D-scan if he was D-scanning. Obviously if he appears on mine, I'll definitely be on his. But as I was saying, combat. So he is looking for me, but I can't go anywhere until I've killed these guys. So that's fun. So yeah, maybe you watch me die. Basically, the premise is the same though for running the site. If I do die, what we've described is correct. The next steps would be refitting to have it, like, to get the cargo scanner and the relic and data analyzer on the ship, and the prop mod, and then scanning each one of these things to work out whether it's worth hacking or not, basically. It's taking them a long time to scan me down with his combats at the moment. Well, we'll see how we go. We will see how we go. Okay, combat probes are in, so he reckons he's found me. If it's the Helios that comes in, obviously that's no problem. But if a Helios is scanning down a Stratios, it probably means he's got friends. Again, would be a big risk for him to come in and try and scram me. But, as I say, he's probably got friends just at the other side of a hole, so wants to fire me and bring in some bigger guns. As he's tracked me out, he's probably warped in and is cloaked, looking at me at the moment, trying to work out what to do next. What I am going to do is briefly swap for the additional DPS to see if we can clear out a bit quicker, because we've cleared enough of the rats now that we can do that, but we want to make sure that we've still got some shield left if they warp in. Okay, so once this guy melts, which he should do in a second because the hull goes a lot faster than the armour, we'll do one more to kill, and then what will be a very frustrating bit where you have to launch your ECM drones and have them work their magic, which takes a little while, to basically ECM the sleeper to make sure that you're no longer targeted and no longer subject to E-War. When that happens. So, at the moment I'm not sure what's happening. He scanned me down with combat probes. He either doesn't have friends, or his friends are a little way away and he's just watching me. Probably the latter. But, this is one of the fun parts of wormhole life. I say fun. This is one of the risky things. Like, I chose to do a risky activity where I literally can't get away. And this is just one of the things that can happen. It's no big deal. Okay, so last one is about to die, so we now pull in the hammerheads, have them come back in. Send out the ECM drones, and then we wait. What I'm going to do while I wait is put shield regen back in so that we've got as much shield as possible if someone comes in. The MTU is pulling in the last wreck, so what I'm also going to do then is that should be the last one. Yep. So MTU, you get 40 million in loot just for doing this wave, so if nothing else you've got 40 million. So scooping the MTU, and because of the... You wouldn't normally do this yet, you'd refit first, but because of the combat probes, I'm going to scoop the mobile depot as well, and then as soon as my ECM drones have gone to work, we can cloak up, basically. Ah, here comes the Saber, just in time to get me. So, Saber should land in a minute and bubble me. I need my ECMs to do their job. We could get away with this, but the Saber is on his way in. Soon as that guy is not targeting me, I can sacrifice my ECM drones, obviously, and cloak up. Should really get aligned to something, but it needs to be something not in line with the Rex. Everything's in line with the Rex, pretty much. Saber still hasn't come in. Yeah. Come on, ECM drones. Come on. You got this. What range is the Saber? Within 5, but not within 1. Interesting. Now not within 5. What's that Saber doing? Oh, but see, this is one of the pains about this technique is the ECM drones. They take a while to do their work. There they go.
You cannot cloak your ship as you are being targeted by someone. You cannot cloak your ship as you are being targeted by someone.
I mean, he should really not be able to target me at the moment. There we go. And we're cloaked. So, what I'm probably going to have to do, which is a little bit annoying, is leave. Which I obviously don't want to do, because I would like to show you guys these things. But here's the Helios back, looking for me. That guy's killed one of the ECM drones, and he should probably leave the rest now, probably. Oh no, he's going to kill them all. There's the Saber again. Wish I knew where they were. Within 5. Alright, what do we got within 5 of us? The structures. C5 wormhole. And a frigate hole. Don't know. Well, either way. Obviously, pleased we got away with the ship. They're dead now. Pleased we got away with the ship. Disappointed that I didn't get to show you scanning and hacking, like refitting and then hacking these, just to show you what sort of stuff you can get, especially from the battleship. But I cannot risk sticking around. Either way, we've got 40 million in loot. But yeah, no. Time to go home.
Warp drive
No point
active.
playing around here and losing half a billion, sorry, for no reason. So I guess that's that. Thanks very much for watching, guys. What I will try and do, obviously one day soon, is do a complete video where we can check out the loot at the end. But as I say, pleased that we got away with it. Actually, quite pleased that I could sort of have that experience. I don't often get in trouble when I'm recording, so nice to be able to share that. And yeah, I guess thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Cheers.
Warp drive active.